I'm alive. Oh, man. I give you a few minutes. Oh, usually takes a couple minutes for people to come on. Then I never know. Looks like somebody's here, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Can someone tell me how my sound? Oops, I should go higher. Is that better? I can't tell if anybody's here. And sometimes it's a zero when there's people here, and vice versa, whatever. So I can't tell if my. It's too late. Okay, well, I guess I will just start talking about what's on my mind, and of course, it's on a lot of people's minds. Is all this. Well, I noticed that some people aren't even thinking about what's going on with these fires, and how could they be so distracted with other entertainment and stuff? I mean, there's a couple of people that I follow that I'm really disappointed in that they're just reporting on like rigged football games and stuff like that that really doesn't matter. Hi, TI Chad. How are you doing? Let's talk about the TI situation. It doesn't seem like I get too many people that even can identify with that. So I just put up on my last video, I put up, oh God, here comes these stupid ads and shit. On my channel, I put up in the pinned comment, I put up a really important video that you might want to look at, and it talks about the TI situation and all the weaponization of everything, and the shoot, I don't know. This is I still have to sweat out a couple more days in August because I've already gotten 2 strikes. So this is information most people do not know about. This is a person talking about her role in the whole agenda thing, and her realizing the things that she's finding out, that she didn't make the connection like until 2018 or 19, the things that were going on, that she was connecting the dots and then realized some of this. So she's putting out stuff that is way over most people's head. People think that they're awake, but they don't really know. Oh, I know they do, but we got to ignore the people that think we're crazy because they don't understand what's going on. They are obviously mind controlled and under the spell or the hypnosis or whatever you want to call it. And that includes my own daughter, which, is sad for me. But if people don't wake up now with what's going on and with all these friggin' fires all over the world, not just California or something, it's in Washington, Oregon, California, I mean, Hawaii, Australia, Africa, just everywhere, all around the world, it's happening, and people are blind to it. They don't see it. Yeah, and I get people asking me like they want to like break a spell somebody has on them, like a personal. That's not what I do. That's not my job. But I'm here to help wake people, to help people to see what's going on, and then if they can't discern for themselves, they're just lost. We can't really spend a whole lot of time waking them up, because we can't make them wake up, just like you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So it's too bad. Oh yeah, I realize it. That's what I've been saying in a lot of my comments that I think are getting shadow banned or deleted or whatever. I'm literally saying that they are under a black jick spec, you know. I can't even say the words because they're going to come after me. And I mean, they could shut me down. I don't know where else to go. I mean, they're probably going to do the same thing everywhere else. So I don't know if I should go over to Rumble or some other platform or not. But I noticed some people who were on YouTube that got deleted or whatever happened to them and they went over to other channels are now kind of coming back and just doing little bits here and there because, of course, YouTube is the biggest platform that we're going to find. Yeah, I think it's pretty much over. That's my conclusion too. It's like if this doesn't wake them up, nothing will. I mean, fires are burning all over the world. This is not normal. They're not normal wildfires. And I mean, if you see some of the footage, there's a lot of footage coming out from Maui, from the residents, but a lot of them are just under the mind control and they're afraid. The people that died were the people that literally listened to the authorities. The people that disobeyed are still alive to report about it. Like they got stopped in their cars. Yeah, that's what it is. They got stopped in their cars by the authorities. The cops literally said themselves, we're just doing our job. We're just doing what we're told. And those people all perished. And the people that disobeyed and went ahead and they're still alive to tell the story of what happened to the other people. Now, this whole thing with the blue stuff is probably a distraction or what somebody else called it, a tar baby, that to keep you focused on that and away from the other stuff. Oh, you're there? You're there right now? Wow. Is that considered the big island that I was there? I've been to Hawaii a couple times, but I get them confused. Wow. So do you know if this is true about the FEMA getting caught burying bodies? Do you know that? So that's cool. You live there, so you should have more like firsthand knowledge. But okay, so that's it. And I actually at one time I bought some property in Hilo, but then I found out it was just lava land there, and it would have been, and it was like the properties were just like right next to each other. So I just got my money back in less $200. They allegedly paid somebody a finder's fee or whatever, but at least I didn't keep investing in it. I don't know. I don't even remember what it cost, but it was Hilo. And I liked it there and everything, but it was just totally lava everywhere. And that was the whole premise that she said it was not lava land, but it was. Yeah, I know that's what they do. I mean, FEMA is not who we think they are. They are not there to help us. They are actually hurting people and keeping them back. And the cops are telling people to turn around and go or headed them right back into the fire. So, and then everybody's wondering where the children are. Well, if they weren't trafficked, maybe they were, but they're probably dead if they were with their parents because the parents are dead. Where are all the parents wondering where their children are? So there's something really kind of fishy going on that people can't make sense of yet. I mean, probably figure it out later. So, yeah, well, I guess, isn't there another island that's on fire right now? Someone just reported, shoot, I forget where they said it was. And you're saying okay, you're on Oahu, right? Or is that the other one? Now I'm getting all confused because I don't know all the different islands there, but so, who's Burn? Oh, I bet. And what about all the underground tunnels they have in Hawaii? At least I saw one that was under Maui. I saw a video of them showing all the structures underground, and that could have been a passageway, even though they're underwater, doesn't mean anything. I mean, I bet there's tunnels just everywhere that we're not aware of, and they have a whole system like their what do you call it? Their the trap the I can't think of the word. You know, the underground buses or streetcars or whatever they call them that go super fast at like Mach speed or something, and they can get from one place to another in like ridiculous amounts of time, short amounts of time. Yeah, I believe that, and I'm sure there's more. That's what I'm saying. We're so unaware of a whole other world below us, and we don't even know it because we don't have that. Yeah, the bullet trains. I was trying to think of the word like a train or any kind of thing like that. So, but don't they move at like really fast speeds? Like they got technology that we have no idea about. So, man, my hair feels. I cut my hair and it's like doing weird stuff. All this, it's coming in curly. I don't know what to do with it since I started. Yeah, they're super fast. I don't know what they said it was. They said somebody reported the actual Mach speed of it, like just super fast. So I don't really know. But so if they're saying that the schools reported out of 3,000 and some children, like 3,001 or whatever it was, they had an actual figure of the number of children that were registered for school, and only like 1,000 of the kids are in school. So there's like 2,000 kids that are unaccounted for. So that means maybe their parents, like they're dead and their parents are dead. Because if there's no parents coming forward, like where's my child? There's none of that going on. So did they all perish? Did they take the whole family? Are they alive, or are they, have they been trafficked kid? I don't even have to say that word. Um, yeah, and so it's something that's beyond us. Unless you're one of them, which we don't really want to be, I don't think. Yeah, I bet. And it seems like the Hawaiian people are very sweet people, but they're also very naive. So I don't think they're probably maybe really trusting people, trusting of the government, like most normies are. And they believe what they're being told, even though they're being lied to, and they're being directed in different ways. Like apparently, that whole row of cars that was trying to get out of the island was cut off, and a cop is standing there saying, "No, you can't go." And one guy who walked past him, you probably heard of him, Fish or whatever. He's a person that lives there. He's not a original islander, but he lives there and he sees what's going on. And he reported that none of those cars moved. He walked past them. If if the people and then he said you could never. He looked back and was watching. You could still see the line of cars. Still got to the point where the smoke got so bad, but he never saw one car come through. So they're just what's what's very nice but not too sophisticated. What are you talking about there? You mean Hawaii in general? The people, you mean? Like I'm saying, the people are very, you could tell they're very kind with their aloha spirit and all that kind of stuff. But I got the sense that they were, yeah, the people seemed to be very overly trusting and naive. I don't know how else to say it. Now I'm like the total opposite. Now I question everything. And I have for a long time, like for over 30 years anyway. Shoot. When these things come up, do they block your view? There's an ad or something on here right now. Putting out a new version of something. You're Irish. I have Irish too. Irish back. part on my mom's side anyway. Well, no, actually, yeah, somewhat. Part my mom's half Irish, so I never met my dad, so I think I know that he was German. I looked up his heritage and it said Anunnaki Jew, so I don't know about that. This would be my dad that I never met. But he wouldn't be alive now. I don't think. Maybe he is. He'd be in his 90s. He'd be 93, so he could be alive. And last I knew, he was in Georgia. So I don't know if I should go trying to find him and then stir up a bunch of shit amongst his family or whatever. Who's this daughter of yours we never heard of? Maybe they did. I don't even know. How do you know about the trafficking? Uber friend picks up men at couples at airport. Men at couples. What does that mean? And they pick up young people and go straight back to the airport. You mean they just grab them, or do they seduce them into the car and take them, or how are they getting people? Yeah, it says couple. It says men. Oh, men and couples. Okay. Oh, they actually try to get men because the homos want them. I don't know who the. I mean, I guess there's a lot of different kind of trafficking going on. I mean, people always think children or sexual, right? So, but it could be girls or boys or women or even men, I guess. They have a place already set up. Wait, I'm not sure what you're saying here. They go to a place set up. He can't see into it. Are you talking about your friend who can't see into it, into the building? So we know, like your friend knows where they are, but he can't report on it, or because he can't see anything or something. I'm not sure what you're saying. Oh, I just read that. What was it? Just somebody was saying that they. Shit, what was that? That a lot of the people from where did they say were being shipped to Maui, like the homeless people in. I don't know if it was in Seattle or where it was, but they were actually shipping them to Maui, the homeless people. So why would they do that though? Oh yeah, I was wondering, maybe in all the bathrooms, I don't know if they're in men's bathrooms or not, but in the women's bathrooms, there's always these signs saying about trafficking and giving 800 numbers where to report it and stuff like that. And I was just wondering if that is a sinister plot by the actual abductors putting those up so they know the people who are onto them and can stop them. Is that what you're saying? Okay, that was my gut feeling. It's like, this seems fishy, these signs. Like, I wanted to think it was a good thing, but my gut kept saying, no, this is something more sinister. It's not a helping thing. Just like the Red Cross isn't helping anybody, FEMA's not helping anybody. All these so-called places that are helping, assisting people are full of it. They're just out. There's just, you know. So that you're saying that 800 number they give you to call is going to set the person up calling to report it to get eliminated or undead or unalived. I mean, it's hard to think that the cops know about it, but how could they not? How could we know things and they don't, and they're in that line of work? I Oh, you don't know about the 800 number because I don't know. I wouldn't want to call it myself. And then all this, you know how they put out that whole thing with the if you see something, say something kind of thing. Like, that almost seems like the person saying something that could get trapped, or the person, like, people are always out to get other people in trouble, and that pisses me. Now, I could see if somebody's being abducted and you want to help the child that's being abducted, what do you do? Where would you go? Like, I had an issue. She might even come on here, but she's in Germany, so it's in the middle of the night there, or the morning. So she's not going to be on. And I'm not talking about her like I'm talking about her. She's a sub of mine, and we do come into our conflicts. But one of the videos I put up was because of a sign that's outside of a firehouse where you can drop off babies. Where, like, if you have an unwanted pregnancy and you want to give your baby up and you don't know what to do with it, just take it to the fire department and drop it off. Something seems wrong about that too. Am I wrong in thinking that's, I mean, I want to believe in the goodness of everybody, and I always have, but now I just see, I don't want to say the word humanity. I do not consider myself to be human, because human, the origin of the word human means monster. So I always say mankind, men, not human. There's something evil about the whole human thing, and I refuse to identify as a human. And they're putting out humanity, humanity. Oh, the humanity! It's just like everywhere. It's an overused word. And I just got a book out of the library. It's saying the new humanity or something like that. It just sounded like bullshit. It was a really thick book, and I tried to find anything in it that seemed like remotely true or something. It just seemed like a rehash of a bunch of bullshit. So I gave the book back, and somebody else took it right behind me, and they asked me if I liked it. I said I couldn't even read it. I mean, I looked through it. I looked at the maps and stuff like that. Okay, go enjoy your lunch. Don't eat too fast. Well, yeah, we all got our opinions and gut feelings, and I'm pretty and very intuitive, and I'm clairsentient. So I have, look on the last video I put up. I think it was the last video. On the pinned comment, I put in a video to watch. So it's not, most people are not going to get it. People that are indoctrinated or just totally mind controlled and whatever will not believe this stuff, or it was even hard for me to understand. And I know a lot of this stuff, and I've known a lot of it for a long time. So, but she was putting out some valuable, I'm going to have to listen to the whole thing again. I mean, I had to keep going back and listen, and she's just putting all these different charts in front of you and showing you all the transhumanism stuff, what they're doing to us. So I don't know how these people can put up their videos and they're blatantly state stuff, and then they're coming after me for repeating things other people say. I mean, a lot of it is my own opinion, and I do agree. I mean, of course. So we're supposed to call this entertainment. So for YouTube, this is entertainment. On the parts, there are some parts that I can teach. I have a teacher's license, so I have a right to be able to teach, for what I have a degree in. Cosmetology, which includes anatomy and a lot of other things that tie into a lot of things, but that's where my profession has been, in the healing arts for over 50 years. So people trying to tell me to go read a book, yeah, okay, sure. These are got to be millennials or something telling me to go read a book. I don't need books anymore. I don't trust books. Any book that is published through the system, gets their okay, is going to be nothing. There's not going to be any real information in there if they're letting it through. Because if they don't want us to know stuff, they're not going to let it go through. So the last set of books that I read were and I'm still questioning those too, the Ringing Cedars of Russia, that was not published through the normal outlets. Like, it was self-published. They were selling, it was word of mouth. The author were on the street literally trying to sell the books. And then a publisher offered to do it, and then it kind of took off, and then they translated it into, I think, 20 languages now. So I do find some things in there, and I do find holes, and I'm always looking for that. And but I believe the whole books, the guy, Vladimir Megre is the author. I mean, there's a lot of good intel in there, a lot of good information, and she talks about the waking Vedras, which I'm probably consider myself one to be of that, from the Vedic civilization. And so the things that are being said by the author, I get the sense that that she's channeling through him everything he says or writes. She is channeling into him, because he's not an author, he's not a writer, he's an entrepreneur. I mean, granted, his writing improved. I mean, it was him doing the writing, but it was her putting the thoughts into his head. And I could tell, because throughout, there's 9 books in this series, and they're telling different stories about all different types of people and stuff in there. But so many of them are using the same vernacular in their quoted sayings. The one thing they keep saying over and over is, you see, da 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 da. Well, you see, almost every single character in that whole book says, you see. How many people talk like that? Even I don't say that. And very few people I do notice don't say that. Occasionally I come across it, but what are the odds that almost every character in the book, like maybe 40 different characters, all starting off a sentence with, you see, and then proceed on to explain whatever they're going to say? Doesn't that sound fishy? Every one of them, almost every one of them. And there's other just little odd things that I could tell that there's some programming going on there, even, or like strengthening a certain idea, like God or something like that. I mean, it doesn't really push God or religion, but it does mention God in there a couple times. So, and I'm having a hard time right now with the whole God thing. I really am. I mean, I always believed in God, probably my whole life, but I don't know why, but I just did. But I think it's programming. It's just it just feels like programming now to me, that everybody believes in God, but everybody has a different God. It's just not making any sense. And I mean, people can be spiritual without believing in God, or, especially believing in Jesus. I probably have a more personal relationship with Jesus than these Christians. They don't even know how to defend their own religion, their own concept of Jesus and stuff. And if Jesus is real and he was here, these people couldn't even be around him. His Merkaba, his light would be so intense, his circle. They couldn't even get in there, because most people are sinners, and they kind of run away from that light. A lot of people can't be around me for that reason. And, other people have brought it up to me, saying that's what they think is the problem that's going on, that because this article that I just put up, not an article, it's a video that I put up that's under the pinned comment in the last video I did, talks about that, how our whole aura has been stolen from us. It's like a body part, just like an arm or a leg or something like that. And that's a big part of our immune system right there. Our immune system is not like a one thing, you know. It's not like just an arm or a liver or something, like an organ or something like that. So how they've managed to do this and how they've doing the transhumanism, this person was saying that we are pretty much cyborgs now. We're all cyborgs. So it is like no getting away. But I don't know how. I have to listen to that video again because it is so deep and so intense, and she put up so much information that it was hard to comprehend it all, to absorb it all. So I have to go back and probably watch it maybe a couple more times because it's not for the lighthearted. It's not for people who are like are calling everybody conspiracy theorists and stuff like that. Because some of us are way beyond that. We know that these are conspiracy facts now. There's no theories involved. I mean, after all, I really believe what's happening right now is another 9. So if you don't think that, I don't know what to tell you, because a lot of people still don't think that was something that they still think that was just terrorist. But yeah, it's terrorist, but it's our own whoever, whatever, but it's not like they're making it out to be. So they're, putting it on somebody else. So you'll be distracted from the fact that it's them doing it. Whoever they are. We still don't know who they are. But there's somebody, or, the elite, or I always thought it was the high priest. And that's what they talk about in these Ringing Cedars books about the high priest. And like Anastasia is like the heroine of the whole series. And her grandfather and great grandfather were like part of this. And then the way she says it was like, they so they got to the point where they had so much control. And then I think maybe something like AI came in or something like that, which has been around for a long time. But whatever, I'm guessing it's that. They don't actually state that, but they said at this point they've lost control. It got so far out of hand. So I don't know if anybody knows of how the power structure works. If you go back and look, there's there's an experiment that was done at Stanford in the, I want to say the 70s. It could be the 80s. I don't know exactly when it was. But they took the students from the university that knew each other, that were friends, and made 2 groups out of them. So one was the group being controlled, and the other group was the controllers who had all the power. Now, these people were friends, like close, good friend, buddies. And they literally had to stop the experiment because it got so out of hand that the people with the power were literally hurting and harming their own friends because they had the power to do it. It was sickening to think that's how, and in such a short time that happened. Has anyone ever read that or heard of that experiment that went down? I don't know who is here now. It's hard to tell. And nobody's, oh no, Chad was here talking about stuff for a little bit, and I hadn't seen him for a while. So if anyone else wants to put any input into this, because I want to interact with people and get their feedback, and then it helps create a dynamic, and then we might be able to figure some stuff out, because people need to stand up to this. There's a bunch of cowards in this world that just will let everyone else deal with it because they don't want to, because they're scared, or because they're whatever. And we can't count on those people. They're gone. We can't even try to wake them up, because if they haven't woken up by now, they're not going to. It's beyond waking up now, because this is too huge of a thing. This is, to me, this is bigger than the 2001 event. This is way bigger, because I mean, that was bad enough, and there was loss of life, but this is way beyond that. And and these fires are going on all over the world. It's not just in Maui, it's not just in Hawaii, and it's no longer just in California. And then, they had it in Ohio. Now it's in Washington. It's not on my side of Washington, it's over in the east side in Spokane that's happening over there. But I wouldn't, and then there's the ones in BC that are right above me, and I can see the smoke and everything here. My daughter was going to bring the baby down. Well, she did, and we didn't know where we were going to go so that the baby doesn't breathe the smoke. But it turned out by the time she came, most of the smoke had cleared up, so it wasn't so bad. And I was able to meet her at the park, at Peace Arch Park, and then we have a little picnic in there and put the baby on the grass on a blanket, and I get to see my grandson. Um, so sometimes she'll come in, but sometimes it takes a while to get through the traffic lineup to get in. So it's like she might wait in line for over an hour. So instead of doing that, she just parks her car and then comes and meets me. The park is right between the U.S. and Canada. It's called where the Peace Arch is. So, but I can't really talk to her about any of this kind of stuff because she doesn't believe it. She's under the spell. She's under the mind control. I haven't really gotten to talk to her about it. I wanted to see what her input is, to see what the normies are thinking. If I need to know, I ask my daughter, because she's basically a normie. I mean, I thought she was a little bit ahead of them, and some things she knows about. I mean, things some normies don't even know about, like the Morgellons, because she sees me going through it. So how much, and she can't deny it. I mean, she's even helped me with it. She bought me for my birthday, she bought me what do you call it, a microscope, so I could look at these filaments and different stuff under the microscope. She got me other things that like would help me in this. And she even helped me build the anti-nano devices and stuff like that. And sometimes her husband helped me, or helped us. Like we all built these things together. And the triangle that Tony Pantalaresco was talking about, like how long ago, like 8 years ago or whenever it was. I've been doing this for 8 years. Been dealing with this Morgellon stuff since about 2015. So it was probably around that time I started watching Tony, and he's not on anymore. And I think he got taken over by the religious spell, because these people like Brian 396, you don't hear of him anymore. They took over his mind or something, and he turned into a raving maniac, threatening to kill people, cut their heads off and stuff. And this is the guy that discovered the nano. So they've done something to his brain or his mind. They're doing stuff to me too. I'm feeling the radiation. I don't know if anybody else feels the microwaving that's going on, or am I just that sensitive to it? I don't know if it's all just about because I'm fasting or detoxing and whatever and getting my body cleaner. They can do whatever they fucking want. They can attack anybody. And for those of us that are being attacked, it's our nervous systems. And this video I was talking about, that girl explains how they do some of this stuff, how they attack our nervous system. And she had the list of all the things that I've been dealing with in these 30 years. The fibromyalgia goes all the way back to the 80s, that I was going through that then. And the chronic fatigue and all these other things. And I thought it was related to a vax that I got, the Hep B vax that I got back then. But it could be something else. It could be just happened at that time. But it could have been something that put it into me. I don't know yet. But I have not been getting flu shots and other kind of things like that. I avoid all that stuff. So, because I know that the flu is just a detox. People don't realize. And she talks about the conviviality and what that's all about. So, people who think they're using our natural detoxing that we go through in the spring and the fall. It's a natural thing, and then other people all go through the same thing at the same time. It's called resonance. It's just like you don't catch a virus. Viruses don't exist outside of us. There is no such thing. It's still theory, so they're still haven't proven anything about that. But it's just like women who get together and their periods sync up when they're working or they're spending a lot of time together. It's the same thing. It's called resonance. And but people are using this. It gets disgusting to hear them talking about how they got the COVID. They got the COVID. It's like they don't have anything else to talk about but their COVID. Do you see how they're identifying with it? Like people. And the other thing that she talks about on that video is how cancer, they've had this cure all along. It's actually they created, and then they have the cure for it. 15 minutes it takes to cure cancer. And I look at people going through all this chemo and radiation. That shit is killing them. I have people I care about, and I can't even say anything to about it because it's their cancer that they want to keep, so they get attention for it or whatever. They don't want to hear about other solutions or anything because the big one I think is the cannabis, the RSO, Rick Simpson oil, that helps and with probably lots of things. But they don't want to hear about this because then they've already been programmed through the marijuana madness or whatever, how it's been demonized, so that they don't want to be considered a drug addict. You don't have to do things to get high. I mean, even a lot of the psychedelics and stuff like that have medicinal uses and stuff, but people abuse them just like they abuse the cannabis, and then it gets a bad rap, and then it's no good for anybody because you're just a pothead. I use it as medicine. In fact, I'm trying to make, the saying, let medicine be your food and let food be your medicine. People don't understand that. They just get half of that. You make your medicine, that's all you need. We shouldn't need to eat as much as they have us programmed to eat, especially 3 meals a day. I usually only eat 1 meal a day. Or if I have something that's too much at 1 meal, I'll split it into 2 meals. Like I'll eat a half a sandwich then or then. And I don't really eat sandwiches, but so that's not a good example, but you know what I mean? It's like I'll break it down into 2 smaller portions, and it's still one whole portion is still less than most people eat at 1 meal of their 3 meals a day. People are programmed to eat, and the food is toxic. It is so addictive. There are so many chemicals in it, and now they have the natural flavoring. They have all these gums, and they also now, if you look and see, it's going to say contains bioengineered food ingredient, which they used to put it under the ingredients. Now they've made it smaller, and they're even moving it away from the ingredients, so it's in another part of the label. If you don't read the whole label and see down here, it's in small writing down here that it contains a bioengineered food ingredient, which you don't know that it is. And I'm thinking, I looked and I was going to go to the store and maybe do a video, but I don't want to go to the store I normally go to up here where I get my water, and the only thing I get there is basically my water and some maple syrup sometimes, and I'll get the dark maple syrup, which I don't know that can be so messed with. But there's nothing else in it but maple syrup, and I get the dark kind because there's even more minerals in it on top of all the salt that I put in my water. Like for most people, I put a teaspoon in my water. But most people are probably not able to handle that much. So even if you started a half a teaspoon per liter, quart, whatever you want to call it, and drink 3 or 4 quarts a day, that will help detox you and hydrate you at the cellular level. People are so dehydrated, especially the vegans and vegetarians. And if you're not actively putting the salt, it's like the best thing you could do is get seawater from the ocean and dilute it down. Like when I got the seawater, I don't usually get it around here, but I was doing it every day when I was in North Carolina because I was right at the beach. And it's hard to get it here because of the rocky places I have to climb down to get to the water to get it, or I would do it. But it's just a little bit too difficult, and I'm really weak right now because I'm going through like heavy detoxing. I'm guessing because I'm telling you, my hair was falling out, and there's a lot of things that are just a symptom of detoxing that people will go do all these other things, take other medication to stop these processes when they should be going through them. Like one big one, for example, is diarrhea. Diarrhea is like the best way. Like you drink this water until you get it. When you have the runs, that means you're starting to detox and it's flushing out the toxins. And it doesn't feel good. And on top of it, I'm feeling all this friggin' radiation that other people seem to not feel. So I'm wondering if I'm just being if it's being directed to me, because I know that there could be, you could have a group of whole people and they can affect you and it won't affect the person on either side of you, what they can do to you. And because I won't shut my mouth and I'm trying to help tell people, educate them, and share what knowledge I know, they just keep coming at me. And I know people think I'm crazy for saying that, but people that really know, like, what's his name that was just here, uh, he knows. So I was glad to have him on. I mean, I'm glad to have everybody on, but nobody's talking to me. Look at all the chatting he did before he had to go eat his lunch. So anyone else here consider themselves a TI? I don't like using that word so much, but I don't know I haven't found another suitable word that people would understand what I'm saying. So for those who are here, does anyone even know what a TI is? I mean, I could say the whole word, but it's a targeted individual. And they put out that term who knows how long ago to discredit us, just like they did with the conspiracy theorists and all that other crap that they put out there to discredit us when we start talking. So you can believe me or not, people that don't believe me they can go on their merry little way, and people are saying, oh well, we don't have any problems, everything's kosher and hunky dory and stuff like that. These are the people that are going along with the narrative. They leave them alone, but in the end they won't have a chance. So it's just like the people who were um in the Maui fires, that the cops said they were told to stand down. They said that they had their orders, just like they did in Germany. We're just doing what we're told. So they're literally, what do you call it? Um, they're they're partially responsible for the deaths of these people. The people that listened to the cops and did what they were told are dead. The people in their cars were dustified. Look at all the row of cars that never got out of that row of cars. Their cars are all burnt to, with all this steel and aluminum and everything just dripping off the cars. The plastic doesn't melt in a microwave. And these are microwave That's what's happening. The cars are being microwaved. The houses are being microwaved. The people are being microwaved. The children and the pets. So Eric just put, no, it was somebody else's video, but he put it up too. That they were showing that one of the vehicles, showing the aluminum, how it just melted because they're getting over 3,000-degree temperatures. And usually a fire, like a forest fire, wildfire, is going to be at like, no, like 2,000 or something like that. It's not even that high, I don't think. I think it's like 12 or 1,400. So these are not normal fires. And if you see when you put something into a microwave oven that's got metal in it, it's going to spark all over the place, right? And the plastic stays intact. The bowl that it's in, if it's in, a plastic microwave bowl, the plastic does not melt at that high of a temperature that it will cause sparks in a fire. And then you put a piece of aluminum foil in there and watch what happens. That's what's happening to these cars in these houses. And that's why the trees aren't burning. Because it's a different frequency. It's all about the frequency. If you see how the laser goes, it will burn. It can go shh, and you can see half of the house is burnt and the other half is not. You can see the exact line. Is anyone else aware of this or know how microwaves work and how has anyone seen where they showed a demonstration of the birds on the up where the bird's basically being microwaved? It shows one bird and then they hit it and it's gone. There's nothing left of it. No feather, nothing. It's just gone. Maybe the feathers fly off. I don't know. But so when the people are hit with this, the only thing left of them, if there is there could be teeth or bones, because it takes a higher concentration of heat to pulverize the bones. And you can ask any funeral director where they do or cremations and stuff like that. They do the most of it, and then they have to pulverize and break down the bones and stuff like that. So it takes a lot more to disintegrate the bones. And then I heard some people saying that that's all they saw in the car was bones. So it's pretty scary to think about this is going on around us. And I've known about this for, I don't know if anybody here has ever listened to Deborah Tavares and her site Stop the Crime, or ever read that document that they have that I'm sure was put there for us to see because it was allegedly left behind in when they were duplicating a Xerox machine or something. Yeah, sure, they're going to leave an important document by mistake, and the whole document is going to be left. They're making they're going to leave it there. Come on, I ain't buying it. But anyway, there is you can go to her site and read. I'm pretty sure it's there. I haven't been to her site in a while, and she's back on the scene now, so she's still alive. I thought maybe something happened to her because she was putting out a lot of information too. Seems like the people from California are putting out the most information. They're the ones standing up and fighting back while all the other cowards are just leaving it up to other people like them to do all the dirty work, to do all this fighting for us. Meanwhile, do they not care about their children or their grandchildren or their future of anybody? So, this is a total wipeout, man. If people don't realize that's what's going on, you can look that up in that document. It's called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. You see, these are quiet weapons, except for the occasional explosion, because that could be from like the lithium batteries or different like refrigerants and stuff, because they're saying refrigerators are exploding. And certain things like that could explode and add more to what's already to the fire. So I don't know, it's been pretty hard for me to relax when this is going on, because this is like breaking my heart. Because I don't know what else to do about it besides try to inform people so that they can take action. Shit, I'm 72 years old. I'm pretty old to be doing this stuff. It should be the younger people doing this. And the men. We're all the alpha men. We got all these soy boys that are just so wimpy and just pussies and cowards and don't want to do anything, leaving it up to the women. It seems like the women are doing most of the standing up to things. Look at what Posey Parker's doing in the UK, standing up against the trans shit. And I mean, that's all part of the depopulation thing too. Can you make that connection where they're getting them to the point where they can't reproduce? Doesn't that tell you that's depopulation right there? Think about all the different ways. Death by 1,000 cuts. I started to write them down, and I can't think of them all at one time, but they're just everywhere. I mean, they got people fighting over toilet paper. Do you know what toilet paper's made out of? Asbestos. It's got ass right in it. So every time you wipe yourself, you're just jamming that in. So every orifice on your body, they have a vapid to attack you. You want to put on some deodorant? Oh yeah, let's roll on some aluminum. Let's get that going on in there. And it's just on and on and on. I'm going to make a big list of all the things that I've avoided for a long time. So, and people just use it, don't care. It's convenient, it's easy, it's available. So they use it. They don't even read the ingredients or the labels to find out what it is, what it's about, what they're putting into them. All these contacts, even glasses. We should be able to see what they're doing to us is awful. So I just put up that video about rinsing your eyes out with the distilled water just to kind of clear them out. So you can tell I'm fired up. But wait till you hear this video. This other girl, oh my God, she's she is so angry because she started connecting the dots and putting all these pieces together of something she was involved in. And she's saying, how can you guys not see this? What's happening? I mean, some of this stuff is going to be beyond your ability to comprehend it, because some of it was hard for me too. And I am super intelligent. And I have to brag on myself a little bit here, because my SAT scores put me in the top 1% of this country. So most people don't want to be around me because they're too fucking stupid to be around me. Because I can't relate to, I have to lower myself so much, bring myself down to these people, like being around children. In fact, I can talk more intelligently with some children, say 9-year-olds and stuff like that, than some of these adults. Really, I can't even get through to them. They are so mind controlled and so dumbed down, and a big part of it is the food that they're eating. And you just look around at the people. I mean, I'm having a hard time being around most people. I don't even know that they're real people or what they are, because they sure don't look like the people that I've known for 70 years, at least up until the last maybe 5 years. Because I have more to compare with too than most people. So, I mean, I got my wisdom of my years. I'm like an elder that no one respects. Not no one, but most people do not respect their elders unless they're from indigenous, other kind of communities. Like the people now are just gone. They have no respect for their elders. They reject them like they're stupid, when they're the stupid ones rejecting the ones with the knowledge. And they don't want to listen to us. I mean, it's their loss. But we have more to compare it to. I mean, I grew up as a child in the 50s. way different than it was even in the 60s. And the 60s is way different than it is now. I mean, we had our programming was the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So they introduced us to that and all the whole Tavistock Beatles bullshit and all that. The Beatles didn't write their own music, and they didn't even sing their own music. They only sang their really simple songs like "She Loves You," yeah, yeah. They couldn't produce, they couldn't perform those in big venues like symphonies, like Hey Jude and all the other different ones that came, that were written for them. They just got credit for it. They had nothing to do with the writing or playing or singing of it at all. And I even saw a tape of them admitting on video saying they did not know how to read nor write music. None of them. So, I mean, they did their little simple songs. They picked them out to be their little guinea pigs. And then, of course, they killed off Paul and put what's his face in there. I actually saw him live, Wings bout. I don't remember when it was. Had to be in the early 90s, I guess. So, it was okay, but it wasn't. I don't know. I started losing my wanting to be in a concert environment, because if you looking at it now, I just see it as a total spell that people are under. And now that they're saying some of what they're doing to their consciousness, then they leave and then they can't remember the whole concert. So I don't know what that's about, but they can do all kind of stuff to our minds and our bodies, especially our nervous system, which I'm under effect right now. I'm going through a lot of their crappy nonsense that I have to deal with all the time. So, but anyways, does anyone want to talk about anything? Thank you for coming. Thank you for the thumbs up. I don't know. I keep saying I want to delete the video so I can talk freely and then just delete the video, but I can't figure out how to do it now. I think I can do it on my iPad, but I'm using my laptop to make these so I can read the chat, because on my laptop it won't let me read. The chat comes up and then it just keeps fading away before I can read one line, then it goes away. So I'm lucky if I could get that one line in before it disappears. So I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why it won't stay up. If anyone knows how to tell me how to keep that from fading away, the whole live chat. Like, it's fine here on my laptop. And I'm at the library where there's Wi-Fi, because I need Wi-Fi and electricity to use this old laptop that I have. I still have Windows 7 on here. I refuse to update it anymore. So, I mean, it's working for me so far. And today I'm not having the problems I was having the last few times on my lives. If anyone was here, the other day or last week, whenever I did it before, you could see how they were messing with it, and it was buffering and freezing and doing all kind of weird shit. But today it doesn't seem to be doing that. So I don't know. I guess they're just leaving me alone today. So, does anyone have any kind of contribution or want to talk about anything? That anybody have any information to share, like what they found out about anything? Because that's what I'm trying. I want to get people to come on and enter into dialogue. And the more we talk with each other, the more we can help to come to some solutions. What we can do, we can't just let this keep going on. They know this and they're laughing at us. Do you realize that? How what they're doing now is beyond hidden in plain sight. It's blatantly in our faces. You can't deny that. There's no guessing about it. It's like, oh, do you think? Well, you don't even have to decode it. literally right there in your face. They're admitting to all the things they're doing. They're admitting to using lasers and dews, and you see what they're doing on the Mountain Dew cans or whatever they are now. All the names, you know, oh, it's just disgusting. Just look at them. They're, Maui Burst and all these, dark, evil names for the flavors of the Mountain Dew. It's got DEW right in it. The logo's got the laser. It's even in like Fox News or PG&E. They got all the lasers. It's just right there in our face. They want us to see it. They want us. They know that we know, and now they're really fucking with us to like really put it in our face, but yet there's a lot of people that still don't see it. Why did he put a mask on here? Oh no, that's a face. The smile, I thought, oh, that looks like a mask, but it's not. So, okay, he went to eat lunch, but nobody else wants to talk and anything? Nobody? Come on. I'm just doing all this ranting and stuff, and it's just a lot. I would like to have a dialogue with people because I don't like it when people do a live and then they just talk and talk and talk the whole time and they don't interact with the chat. Now I want to interact with the chat. Nobody wants to talk, so I have to do all the talking. My throat is like, you can tell I'm losing my voice here. So no one else wants to talk? I mean, I have more time. I don't have to leave here, and I don't have this overhead light. Thank God they let me unplug it. At least the guy did the other day. So I have to unplug it and replug it back in and put the tape over it because they literally taped it down and told me I couldn't. But then the other day, the guy said I could. So that gives me permission. Now I can do it every time, and then I just plug it back in and put the tape over it and shit. But the friggin', I don't know. The guys treat me nicer here than the ladies do. I mean, the ladies aren't being mean, but the one didn't let me, said I couldn't. Because this overhead light, I don't know if anybody's here that remembers this light, how blue it was on me. So people were saying, well, use an umbrella, but I'd have to sit here holding the umbrella because there's nothing to attach it to. But anyway, I talked to the guy last time, and he said he came back and undid it himself. He ripped up the tape and pulled it out, but he left the tape on. We put it back together when it was done. Put the tape back on it. So now I can do that every time because I thought, shit, I'm not coming back here if I have to sit under this blue light. And it bought, really, I'm really sensitive to everything that most people don't even know that's going on. Now, I don't know. I know they can selectively, it's directed energy. They can direct the energy right at me, and you could be sitting here right next to me and you won't feel it, but I will. And I can really feel it. And some people will think it's just the heat outside. And I honestly believe, because of what I feel myself from this radiation and knowing these dudes are radiation fires and radiation microwaves, I believe that's why the people were running to the water, not just to get away from flames, but to get away from the intense heat and the feeling of the microwave energy shooting through their nervous system. Water is a good, because when I take showers, it's good. It makes me feel better. The water grounds me. Water is also one of the best antihistamines. So if you're like itching a lot for whatever reason, just go jump in a shower or a tub or something like that, and the water will help act as an antihistamine. So I really honestly feel that's why they were running into the water. Now, I don't know that for sure. I can't prove it or anything, but just from my own experience and what it feels like to me, I have to run, like, get in my car and drive and find a shady place to get out of the sun and the heat and the direct energy wherever it's coming from. but it does feel better when I'm in a cooler place in the shade. So it's like the heat just, it starts frying me, literally frying me. And that's how they must have felt when they ran and jumped in the water. And then the fucking cops don't let them go. The people that survived were the ones that disobeyed. So remember that. Whenever they're telling you to do something and your gut's saying don't do it, then don't do it. Listen to your own self. Be your own authority. Don't let these people boss you around and tell you what to do when your body is telling you to do otherwise. Because they're just following orders. So you follow your own orders and say, I'm just following orders. I'm doing what my higher self or my whatever you want to call it, your intuition is telling you to, your flight or fight, whatever, is telling you to run or go a different way, and they're telling you no, go this way. Those people are all dead. They've been dustified in their car. I think that's why the door, if people were in their cars, and they're not in their cars anymore, but the doors are all closed, handles are missing and stuff like that. If somebody's going to jump out of the car and run for their life, I don't think they're going to stop and close the door. And anyway, there's no handles on the doors, some of them. So why wasn't there any cars with doors open where people just ran out of the car? Because they were dead before they had the opportunity to run out of the car. They were dustified like those little birds. You could see that. I'm going to ask, I think Jamie has the clip of it. I thought I had it, and I don't know where I saved it to, if I did. But I think he said he was talking about it, so I'm going to ask Jamie at an airplane, Plane Truth 15 now. Ask him to send it to me somehow so I can post it up for you to see how they just, poof, they're gone. So, I mean, that's probably a good way to go. If you're going to go, it's better than suffering, right? That's how I try to look at all these people that are now dead, that at least most of them probably did not suffer except for the trauma that they went through before they died. You know, seeing the smoke and the fire and all that trauma. But when the dew hit them, they were gone. So I don't think, they're holding on to their loved ones in some cases. Oh, and that one where they were showing the car, the engines, you notice that the cars, most of them, the damage is in the front. Under the front hood where the engine is, because the engine is metal, usually aluminum. I mean, if you have an older car, maybe iron or whatever, but it's the densest part of the whole car. So that part goes up in dustifies or whatever it does, the hood and the heat concentration right there. So when they were showing that, how the aluminum was like running in streams off the car from the tire, the wheel well of the tire melting, it wasn't the tire so much, but the tires are disintegrating because of the steel belted radials. It's all about the metals. And the ground is full of metals now from the crisscrossing in the sky. And where does all these things go? Down onto the land, onto the soil, in the rain, and the rainwater everybody thinks is so healthy. They're drinking all the nano particles. People don't even know about the nano. Ask my friend Ariel how long I've been talking years about the nano, and he makes fun of me for it. He still ain't getting it yet either. So he thinks he is, and he's on to some things, but for the most part, he's seems to be falling in line with the normies, and that makes me sad because he doesn't want to. I don't know that he wants to hear it or do anything about it. But that's typical of the millennials. They don't want to listen to us. But even his own parents, who are probably Gen X, don't get. He knows more than they do. So he knows more than a lot of people, but he still is under the mind control of his generation, of the things that, he thinks taxes are fine. He doesn't realize the whole economical, the political, he doesn't realize we're under attack, I don't think. And I don't mean to talk about him because I love him. It's just that he just ain't getting it. And I wanted to have another. We've done a couple of videos where he named it the Cat and Ariel show or something like that. So I might do another one with him where we record it. And if it's worth putting up, I'll put it up because I think it will help people by us talking like we did before, and from people from his generation maybe can learn something. I don't know. So, but he's very intelligent in a lot of ways, and he says a lot of very interesting things and very things that most people wouldn't think about. But he's heavy on the astrology part, and that part I'm not discounting astrology because it has a lot to do with everything and what's going on. But I think the astrology that he's been given is not the real astrology. So, I mean, some parts of it might be real, but I don't know if why would they, just like the gematria, all these people are using all this gematria and cherry picking, spelling the word so it comes out 666 or whatever there's, thinking. It's just ridiculous. Do you think they are going to give you or me the real deal? I don't think so. But there is an astrologer that is more in line with the way I think, and I believe more of the things she says. So I'm going to send her this video that I just pinned in the comment under the last video I made to see what she thinks of this now. Like, is she buying any parts of it, or because this is like stuff that they've been doing, Silicon Valley, all this stuff that's been going on since the 90s back then. I mean, even before that. I mean, this whole thing that's going on right now I think it's been in the works for over 100 years, over like 150 years, maybe even longer. That what they're doing now, this is how they do things incrementally. It's the slow boiling of the frog, death by 1,000 cuts. At this point, it's almost getting to be like death by 1,000,000 cuts because they're so, and I mean, it's just torture, literally torturing us, what they're doing. They, like they do something and then they give you a reprieve. Then they pull something else, and now it's going to be, you got to put the mask back on now, everybody. How many people are going to put that mask on and comply with that shit before we can, the more people that do it, and you see that more people than not, right now, maybe not because it's not mandated again, and mandate is not a law. So these idiots that put these masks on are making it hard for everyone else. Because eventually, I mean, we're going to be the ones standing out because we're the ones fighting back. And they're going to come harder at us and leave the cowards alone more. But we need to stand up. I'm willing to die to not comply. I will die before I comply. That'll be my motto. Because I tell the truth, and I know it offends people, and sometimes I come off a little too harsh but when you know stuff, it's hard not to say stuff. I've been not saying stuff for so long and tolerating people and having to bring myself down to their level that it's getting really old, and it gets kind of lonely up here with nobody to discuss this with because they don't understand it and they just don't want to hear about it, or they don't want to do anything about it. I know for a lot of it, like when I try to talk to my daughter, I think she doesn't want, and this is how I can gauge some of the things, like, well, she's a millennial, I'm a boomer, and there's no Gen X between us. Like usually it's, each generation, which is almost like 20 years, the boomers had the Gen X, and the Gen X had the millennials. Well, I skipped a whole generation because I didn't have my daughter until I was 40. So, and she's 32 now. So, like, I try to run things by her, and she doesn't want to hear it because I think the reason she doesn't want to hear it is because, especially things I'm trying to tell her, even about myself, that's happening to me, like, no, 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 no. Because I think she feels pressured to do something instead of just listening to me and let me vent it out and get it out and then talk about it. But she doesn't know how to talk about it, and she doesn't know what to do about it. And she's like a normie, just going along like the world is fine. The world is burning down literally around her. It doesn't matter. And I tried to explain this to her like a couple of years ago when I was trying to explain to her what I'm trying to do. It's like me trying to tell you you're in the you're in the movie theater watching the movie on the screen, and you're invested in this movie, and I know you don't want to be disturbed, but there's a fire out in the lobby. It's like, no, I want to finish watching the movie. It's basically what people are doing. Don't bother me. I'm watching the movie. I don't care if the world is on fire. I'm watching my movie. And that's the mindset of people, at least most of the younger people, but even some of the Gen X are like that. And some of the boomers too. I mean, I'm a boomer, but I'm not a typical boomer. I mean, there are some older people that do know stuff, and they pretty much keep it to themselves because there's nobody that wants to listen to them, or they don't want to be called crazy. Well, I don't care if anybody calls me crazy. They can call me whatever they want. I know what I am. I know how intelligent I am. Now, if somebody that's more intelligent than me, and if they have proof of whatever to show me that they know something more than me, I will listen. But I usually, when somebody's trying to give me advice about parenting, if they don't have children themselves, I ain't listening to them. Sorry. If you don't have a child, you're not going to tell me how to raise a child or how to treat a child. And I'm good at treating a child because I was mistreated as a child. And I luckily did not become an abuser, because a lot of people who are abused become abusers. Well, I was sexually, psychologically, and physically abused by 5 of my family people. And even outside people like the candy man or whatever when I was in preschool. Who knows some of these things that happened to me, and I have vague memories, but I can't, like, it's probably because I don't want to remember it, but I know some of this happened in my family with, I can tell you, my stepdad. Well, I don't know that my mom sexually abused me, but she physically beat me. My aunt, I think, was sexually abusing us because she always wanted to give us baths. That sounds suspicious right there. That wants to give the children a bath all the time. What are they doing? And then her boyfriend and her son. So that's 3 people just in that family unit right there that was fucking with us. Me, my sister, and I don't know any more than that. My sister, that was a year and a half younger than me. My brother, that was next, that was 3 years younger than me, died um, when he was 23. So I didn't really get to talk to him about it. And the other ones were younger. And I don't know. I think that my sister and brother, who were twins, probably were molested too. I don't know, but my mom left that man and went with another man who tried to almost, I don't know if it's considered, I guess it's considered abusing. When I was 15, he grabbed me and starts kissing me and sticking his, and I'm not even counting him in the family count. He just started kissing me, sticking his, French kissing me, sticking his tongue down my throat. It was disgusting. I was only 15 years old. So it's like, oh shit, I thought I got out of that. I might not even been 15 at that time. I've been more like 14, and I was an early bloomer. I got my period when I was 10. My boobs started growing. Like at 12, I need a bra already. So, I mean, this stuff goes on all the time in families. I don't think I'm any exception. I just think people don't talk about it because they're too embarrassed or whatever. But I think secrets are what's causing the problem. A lot of the problems in the world, everybody keeps it to themselves and thinks they're the only one. Meanwhile, it's happening to everybody. We're all this world is messed up. That's why I don't believe in God anymore. Why would God allow all this to happen? Why would he let innocent children suffer? Kids born with, deformed or with leukemia or whatever the fuck they got going on, and then it's just ridiculous. What kind of God allows this? This ain't no loving God. And don't tell me it's because I sin, because I am not a sinner. You could call yourself a sinner. When people say, oh, we're all sinners, oh, we all lie, I go, you just told me all about you. I don't lie. I know me, and I know I don't lie. So that means you're a fucking liar. So I won't believe anything you say if you tell me something now, because you just admitted to me that you're a liar. And I know a lot of people lie, but when people say that blatantly, they're giving themselves away and they don't even know it. And I'm a therapist, so I know how to read people, and I know they're bullshit, and I know how people project and say stuff. When they're projecting their shit on other people, it comes back to them when you see the pattern. So I don't. Nobody's talking. Is it working? Maybe I don't have this on right. I don't think anybody's saying anything, are they? I don't even know how my sound is. I guess it's okay at this point. So, what is it saying? Okay, it's been almost an hour and a half. So, does anybody else want to chime in and say anything? I don't want to be the only one just blabbing all the time when I'm doing a live, because I could just do a regular video. I'm trying to interact with people. I want other intelligent people talking to me so we can maybe get somewhere with this and start figuring shit out. Because if we don't figure it out, what's going to happen to us? We're going to just let it happen? I shouldn't be the one doing this. It should be the younger people doing this. I mean, it's good that I have my wisdom and still my wits about me, that they're not totally disabling me, but they are. This is affecting my brain and affecting my nervous system. I am like literally sweating all the time when it's cool, and I shouldn't be, because it's friggin' microwave radiation I'm being hit with. And I feel it almost like right now even. So, I mean, it could be, I know part of it is the detox, which does not feel good, and I can understand why people shy away from it. But if you're just going to keep eating what they're offering you and then turn around and say, oh, those drug addicts. Meanwhile, you're the drug addict if you're eating the food from the supermarket. And I don't know who is here. I'm not directing it at anybody in particular, but I'm just telling people in general, if you're eating food at the food market, you are literally killing yourself, and you're addicting yourself to the chemicals. Because try not eating it for 3 days or whatever and see. I mean, I'm having a difficult time even with coffee, which I know is not good for us. I've been weaning myself off of it. I drink less, and I'm also drinking only decaf. So I'm eliminating the caffeine, but I don't know what else, especially if you're going to drink coffee at all, you should get the whole bean so that they can't slip something into the ground coffee. So I mean, there's probably ways they can contaminate the beans too, but nothing can be trusted. The food system has been deteriorating for a long time. We shouldn't even be eating vegetables, for one thing. And that's hard for most people to accept, especially the vegans, and the vegetarians. I mean, like, people go from one extreme to another. They'll go from vegan to carnivore, and then they just eat meat. Cooked meat every day is not good for you. So then they're destroying the good diet of the carnivore diet by abusing it. So, because there's somebody I started watching that, he's got some good information, but he went from being vegan to being carnivore, and he abused both of them. Well, he abused the carnivore diet by overeating it, and the best way to eat it is eating it raw, and I have a hard time getting raw meat in me. But that's the best way to eat it, because once you cook it, you coagulate the blood, you destroy the enzymes which help to break it down. And if you're eating vegetables, vegetables are indigestible cellulose, and fiber is a lie. They want you to eat that shit, and people are doing it and prove. And then that after 10 years or so, they see their body breaking down so bad, they're all transparent, and they're dehydrated at the cellular level. They don't even know how sick they are. But there's a few people now finally, putting out videos or telling people that they did the whole vegan thing or vegetarian, and it did not make them healthy. And I never was a food addict about anything. I never had any particular diet that I followed or anything. I just ate what felt right to me. And now I hardly eat anything at all. I mean, I have shrunk it down to like 12 foods. There are even now some of the foods that used to be okay, I can't even eat anymore. It's like the natural flavoring is showing up in everything that was never ever there. People and babies are as natural as it gets. And if you're aware of the Soy Green movie, was put out in the 70s, was it, I think? Do you know what year that was set in? The movie was made in the 70s, but it was set in 2023. So it was like 50 years ahead of time. And look where we're at now. And if you should know about Soylent Green, you look it up, see what it was about, watch the movie, and then see what you think. So that's what I think the natural flavoring is, because it was never there. And now when they advertise, no more artificial flavoring, look and see, and I'll bet you any money, 9 out of 10 times, there's going to be natural flavoring in place of the artificial. Which the artificial flavoring, I'd probably rather have that than the natural flavoring, because I draw a line at the natural flavoring. I won't do it. I won't eat pork either, because I believe pork is another cannibalistic food that was it's a hybrid of wild boar and man. That's why it tastes so good, because humans are the best tasting meat. So that's why you love your bacon and your pork chops and ham. Yeah, they taste good. They sure do. So people go by their taste instead of by their health, what's good for them. They'd rather say, oh, because whenever I try to buy things, people are saying, this tastes so good. I says, I don't care if it tastes good. I want it to be good. They don't say this is so good for you. They said this tastes good. Big difference, because they can make things taste really good. And you're going to go for it just because it tastes good. That's what people do. That's how they are. I'm telling you, I've been watching foods for a really long time. That was part of what I did as part of my, in my healing arts. Food was a big component. And water, I don't know about drinking a whole lot. I wouldn't drink distilled water by itself, because that'll probably leach the minerals out of you. But when you put the sea salt in, you're adding the minerals back. So I just watched a video, and I was going to post it on my channel. A girl did a breakdown of 3 kinds of salts. They were Redmond salt, Himalayan salt, and Celtic salt, which I use the Celtic salt. But she said, I caught something she said in there, and I left a comment asking her about it. So I have to wait and see what her response is. She said in the video that it was table salt, the regular shit you don't want, has potassium iodide in it. And I had never heard of that. I always thought it was sodium chloride. which I looked it up and that's what it said. So I told her, I says, why are you saying this? So I'm waiting for a response. Does anyone know? Does anyone know anything about salts and how they're like? I would, if I, my first choice would be to go get it from the ocean and dilute it down, put some distilled water. But you got to even now watch for the distilled water, because the distilled water I've seen in different things that they're going after that now. If they even have it on the shelf, and then when they do, not all of them, but some of them, one says not sterile. It's saying it's distilled water, but on the label it says it's not sterile. How can that be? That's what distilled water is, sterilized water. It's about as sterilized as you can get it. It takes out all the minerals, everything is gone from it. There's nothing left of it when it's distilled. But then they're saying it's not sterile. How can that be when people are using it for their CPAP machines and stuff? It has to be sterile. So people have to read the label to make sure, because they'll be literally killing these people with their CPAP machines, just like they're killing people when they get on these ventilators. You get on that ventilator, you're as good as dead. So I would never agree to it, but then I'm never going to go to a hospital or a doctor again. I'll die on my own. I'm my own doctor. I'll die on my own terms. I'm not going to let those fuckers munder me. That's my word, a code word, munder. I don't know about James Munder. I don't know what he did. I didn't follow him. I knew a little bit of the other guy that got killed, or whatever happened to him. I don't know. Davy Crockett. I just knew a little bit about Davy Crockett. I just saw him here and there, and I found him somewhat interesting, but I don't know why, if they did take him down, what it was about. So I should go back and listen to some of his stuff to see if I really feel like he was taken out. So I don't know how to, I don't know. I'd have to listen to some of these people that think that it was because they're talking about the flat earth. They don't give a fuck about you thinking about the flat earth. They don't care. But you start talking about some other things that you shouldn't know about, then they might care. So, or talking about things that they don't want you talking about. So maybe that's why people are afraid to talk on the chat. Nobody's talking. Only one person that is talking here, because that person probably does know a lot of the stuff that I know. I can tell they know. But maybe people don't want to risk being found out that they don't know something. But how are you going to learn if you don't ask or if you don't talk about it? I am always searching for things to learn. My mind has always been inquisitive and always looking stuff up and researching things and observing and connecting the dots and making mental notes and stuff like that. People that don't pay attention to stuff or are non-observant, don't look up in the sky, don't even see the lines in the sky. How can you miss them? So maybe we see things they don't. Is it our consciousness, the consciousness shifting? Everything is shifting right now. The timelines, the consciousness, everything is shifting. Or I don't know what we're supposed to do or where we're going to land or whatever, but it's not very comforting right now. It's very edgy, but that's how they want us. They want us frustrated. I just went through this whole ordeal with my bank. I don't know if anybody's having banking problems or email problems and all these different problems I'm having, that like they put me, it's like, okay, I've had the same Bank of America, for like at least 15 years. And I'm used to, like, I call, I just automatically put in the last four of my social security and my four number password, and did this for so many years. It was just like, now none of that works. So I get into the part where they put in the last four of my social, and then I put in my 4-digit PIN number, And then they go, let me check that. And meanwhile, through each thing, you got to wait, and they talk real slow. It's weaponized customer service, all of it. Whether it's your bank or the Comcast or your phone company, variety, whatever, they're all going to do this to you if you haven't noticed that they make you wait and wait and wait, and then they talk real slow. Oh, let me check that. So now what they're doing, and I called multiple times and it did it every single time. When I got the 4 letters, the end of it, it should have just took me right to my account and been done. But no, oh, well, let's try another way. I have done this literally for 15 years, but we got to do it another way, even though I gave them the same information I always do. And I couldn't get through. I lost my bank card. And now that I was literally in the bank talking, trying to get this fixed, and never got it really fixed, because they sent, like, in order to get into my app, my online banking, I have to, so they, in order to do that, they have to send a code to my phone. So then I have to have a phone involved. So they force you to have these friggin' phones. So I could get the number, so I could get into my account on my iPad. So now, no, they can't do that anymore. No. I kept calling, and I said, send another code. No code. Send another code. No code's coming. So I lost my card on Friday, my bank card, and I literally could not do anything. My hands were tied. The bank was closed. I couldn't go in. I couldn't stop my card. So anybody that found it could have used it, and I could not do anything about it. Luckily, it wasn't used, but it could have, I don't know. They could have went in, because when I had my purse stolen a few months ago, whatever it was, I had just taken money out of the bank. I had they got like $800 off of me, and they got $100 off of my food stamp card on the cash side that I was saving up for emergency. So some of my car money that I had saved up is gone. So I'm still trying to get another car, because this car is just too small to live in. It's so uncomfortable. I need a bigger vehicle. I'm not asking anybody for money or anything like that. And I have still some money that I had put away to get one before, but I was stuck when my car first, the tranny died on me from a car that I bought, and they told me they rebuilt the transmission, and they lied, and it went out on me on the freeway, and everybody's beeping at me. And then I managed to get it to a tranny shop where they told me it's not worth fixing. The value of the car is not worth paying, for $4,000 to fix the tranny, whatever it was going to cost. So they just said, you don't even bother with it. But then I'm stuck with, like, how do I get out? I'm stuck in Oregon in a car that doesn't run, and I have all my stuff in it, and I can't leave until I get another vehicle, take all my stuff out, and drive away, is what I ended up doing. But somebody drove the car to me, like 45 minutes away, brought the car to me, and I just bought it. Even though it was too small or whatever, it was okay for the time being anyway. So that was like, I don't know, I've got like 3,000 invested in that thing, but it's just too small. And I'm trying to see if I could trade it to something bigger, but I may not even be able to do that. But in that case, for that other one, was a Yukon SUV that was not built. The tranny expert said there was no way he rebuilt this. He lied. So I had to just put the keys on it and walk away from that after $4,000 with that car. So it's like, shit, like, this whole car situation and I've been trying to save up whatever I had left over, and each month I'm doing without everything to save a couple $100 a month so I could get another vehicle. So I'm not gonna, like, my daughter put up a GoFundMe, for the last car, but I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to ask people for money. But so I'm still looking for a car. I'm still driving this car around that I have now. That's too small. It's a minivan, but to be living in a vehicle, it can't be that small. I mean, maybe if it's just for a couple of weeks, but this has been going on 3 years. I've been in my car. So it was December of 2020 when I bought my house. I lost my Section 8 and everything, and then I did the whole Owen Benjamin thing. It's like, well, I might as well go do that, you know. Oh my God. So anyway, and it's like at that time it was 5 years on the waiting list, and now I hear it's up to almost 10 years. So I don't even want their housing. I don't want anything. I mean, it's too bad, but I have to take my Social Security and the lousy $68 of food stamps they give me a month. Can you imagine living on with the cost of food the way it is now? Good thing I don't eat a lot because I only get $68 a month for food. That's $2.25 a day. That doesn't even keep me in water and ice, because ice is a big stress for me. I have to do that every day or every other day. I got to deal with the ice situation because I don't have a refrigerator in the car. So if I had a bigger van that I could have the whole conversion, the inverter thing going or whatever, I could have a little fridge in there. So it's like really hard to just, I have a cot in the bed, but it just there is just literally so little room in there. So at least the cot is not totally uncomfortable, but I mean, it's very narrow, so it's a good thing I'm not fat either. Oh my God. So I don't know. It's been kind of rough lately, the things I've been going through. So, and I know I would feel, be a lot nicer to be in a bigger vehicle. I mean, originally I thought I was going to get, um, like a small RV, like a 20-foot RV or something like that, but that might end up costing me in the long run in gas, like a lot, I think they only get like $10, I mean, 10 miles a gallon if you get that even. It's like 8 to 11 or something for an RV. So I'm hoping I can get a bigger van, like a cargo van or something that's not so hard on the gas. So if anyone knows of any, I mean, they're pretty, I mean, I just drove all the way to Port Angeles, which is like a 4-hour trip. You have to take a ferry and everything. So besides the cost of gas, the ferry, my time, going there. And the girl did not show the picture of the damage on the other side of the car. And I didn't see that until I got there. That was fucked up. But she allowed me to come all that way and did not show. I didn't realize she didn't show the other side of the car where that damage was. There's like a big rusting out hole there. It's like, God damn it, man, these people. So, I mean, I should have known because it was a bus, a small bus, and it was nice. She had it fixed up nice. She did the work herself in it. And she was a young girl. She was like 28 or 9, I think she said. She was like my daughter's age. And she did most of this work herself on it, but shit, it was not what I wanted. I mean, if it didn't have all that damage, and I forget what the other problem, there was a couple other things that weren't cool either, but um, I don't know. So I just didn't get it. My gut didn't feel right. If my intuition doesn't say I should be happy and excited about it, and if I'm not, then I shouldn't be getting it because I don't want to hate having to live in something that I hate or don't like. So I have to start. I've been looking for it every day, and sometimes I take a break from it. So anyhow, and I had the feeling that I was gonna find something just driving around because I see vehicles for sale, and then I'll stop and pull in and check them out and stuff like that. So that's the way I thought I would end up finding something where somebody has like a small RV or something on their property and they just need the room and they get rid of it really cheap. So if I get it super cheap, then maybe it'll offset the price of the gas in the long run, but I don't know. But that's where I'm at with that. I still need another vehicle. So, anyhow, I think I should probably be getting off of here since it's after 6 o'clock my time. I don't know where you guys are. Nobody's talking to me. So it's almost 2 hours, so I've been jabbing. So I think I'm just gonna get off and hope everybody is doing good. I don't know who's here. Nobody wants to say anything. So, does anyone want to say anything before I stop the stream? And does anybody know how to delete the stream if I wanted to? Okay, wait, this is something wrong here. How do I get rid of this? Close this. Okay. Alrighty. So I guess I'm out of here if nobody's going to talk or share anything, whatever. Nobody wants to talk about anything in particular. You can hear me losing my voice. All right. Well, thank you anyway for coming. It's too bad nobody, wants to talk or share about it. Because I was even thinking of having a panel on my channel. I was going to call it even. Where different people can come up and talk. But I see other people doing that. And it seems like there a lot of infighting and a lot of just like echo chambering type stuff and then like some of them are like just mostly guys and then try to come on and it's hard to fit in with all this masculine energy and it's just like you're trying to give a perspective and then they start making fun of you. Not so much me, but I've seen them do it to other women. So, and these guys just don't want to listen to us. And it seems like women are really taking the lead. And I think guys probably are probably not too happy with that because they want to be the ones taking the lead, but they're not doing it. It shouldn't have to be women taking the lead. It should be men. Where are all the alpha men? All we got is a bunch of soft soy boys just running around up doing anything. But, bitching about women. I'm not putting men down. I love men. I don't hate men. And I just want to see them doing the right thing. They're the ones that should be standing up and protecting the women and children. And I see more women doing this than men, which saddens me. So I hope the men start to stand up because if people don't start standing up now, pretty soon, like after what's going on now, I can't believe that they're not doing it. It's just, it shouldn't be up to the women. Men are supposed to be the leaders, but then they bitch about women that when they do take women step back and let them take the lead and then they don't do it and then they get pissed off because women have to step up and into their place when they shouldn't even have to. So I don't know. It's messed up. I mean, I know a lot of this has been socially engineered that way, that it's not supposed to be that way, but that's the way it is because they want to fuck everybody up. They're trying to get their whole depopulation thing depends on not having a man and a woman come together. So that's why all this trans shit is happening. That's why so many things are going on to keep this from happening. That's why the porn is there. That's what's fucking up a lot of people, this porn. And then there's just so many things. They're coming from so many angles. Like I said, death by 1,000 cuts. They're just taking down the young people or not making connections like they should, and then they cover up their faces, and then now they can't even connect. They got to try to connect with their eyes. It just it sucks. I mean, you can literally see the depopulation agenda at work, and they're not hiding it anymore. So I don't know, and nobody even wants to talk here. So it's sad. I don't know if we have men or women here, what you are. And I'm not speaking of anyone specifically. I'm just saying the trends and what they're doing and how it's happening, and that they're carrying out their plans and they're falling in place. But I don't think they can do it forever. I think we can stop them, but we got to do it, and can't just let a few people go out there and sacrifice themselves for everyone. People have to join in and join forces and stand together. And they know this. The powers that shouldn't be, know this. And they know that people are, with all their fear porn and all their tactics to get people scared, they're doing it. People are too scared to do anything. They'll let everybody else do it. So that doesn't feel good when you don't stand up for yourself. Like, if you only knew how good I felt about myself when I left that fucking Canadian border. I mean, 2 different times this happened to me, but that one time it was on the Canadian side and one time it was on the American side. And the American side, I was there for over 4 hours being interrogated. They even called in Homeland Security on me because I refused to put a mask on and cover up my breathing hole. I wasn't going to do it. They said, they kept coming over with them. I said, no, I'm not going to wear them. I'm not going to do it. They said, you have to. I said, no, I don't have to. And they go, well, if you don't, we're going to put you in a cell. Like, they're trying to scare me into, oh, no, I don't want to go into a jail cell. Give me the mask. I'll put it on right now. No, I didn't. I went into the cell. I sat in that cell and waited for Homeland Security to come. They basically rescued me, actually. They took me out of that cell. Two agents interrogated me for like an hour. And when I left, he was fucking praising me for standing up for what I believed in. He said, you're one amazing woman. He says, and I can't believe that you're the age it says on your driver's license. He says, you are one powerful woman. He was commending me. And then when I left, I had his approval. The whole place was there trying to help me. Instead of giving me a fucking mask and tearing my card apart, this was a different shift of people because I was there when the shift changed. And there was literally a shift change. And everybody was helping me. Instead of trying to put me down, they were trying to put my car back together because they tore everything. And if you lived in your car like I do, like if you're living in there on a regular basis, and I don't mean for a couple weeks or something like that, I mean for as long as I have, and you have everything in a certain spot, and then they tear it all apart. They literally they helped me put things back together, although I couldn't really do it on the spot. And they were thanking me for the things that I was saying to this one girl. I was telling her stuff that's in the Bible. She's a Christian and she didn't even know this stuff. So she was so happy that I told her that. And this one guy was telling me about his mom. He saw some of the things that I had in my car, like borax and all these different powders and different things I was using and detoxing with. He says, I recognize all this stuff. He says, my mom started doing this. She didn't do it soon enough and she ended up, they killed her. She died at 62. She says, and he related to me seeing like that and stuff, like he wished I would have been there when his mom was alive. So I was really actually helping people, and indirectly they were getting things from me and trying to help me, even though they really couldn't do too much because they don't know where to put everything back into this jigsaw puzzle of a car I have, where everything has to go in a certain spot to fit in and everything. So anyway, that was such a good feeling. When I left the border, I felt like 100 feet tall. I felt so strong, so proud of myself that I didn't back down. And we're talking authority, Homeland Security Authority, not just your typical local cop, Homeland Security. And they fucking praised me. So I'm trying to teach you or tell you not to back down from these things. How far can they push you? I mean, some people, they know that they've got them with immediately they know, oh, this one's an easy one. We got this one. But I show up and it's like, oh, Houston, we got a problem. Somebody come take care of this wild woman. So anyway, I left on good terms. I felt good about myself. I didn't crawl away, wimp away like that. So that taught me a lot. And I'm glad that I didn't back down and I stayed the whole way. I mean, I had a similar situation with on the Canadian side, but I was that was easy, in, out, done. I stood up to them too, and they knew they weren't going to push me around and everything. But anyhow, so I'm trying to encourage people to stand up for themselves. Because if you don't stand up for you, why should anybody stand up for you? Government, cop, anybody. Your mother, your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, or why should they stand for you if you can't stand for yourself? Now, children are different. Children are different. So, as adults, we have to stand for the children, whether you're a male or female. That's what I feel. So, but I do think the men should be standing up and being a little bit more, being more of leaders than the women. The men are supposed to be the leaders. And they're leaving, a lot of men are leaving it up to the women to do it. It's not fair. Women are they're for the children and they're for doing a different, they have a whole different job. So I don't know. It's sad what's going on. And I hope that people will start to come together. And I hope these fires are making people wake up and smell the carnage. Okay. So I guess that's all I got to say for now. And nobody's going to say anything. So I'll just say goodbye for now. Until the next time, I hope everyone is healthy and happy. And much love to everyone around the world. Till next time.